My name is Nemat Sadat, and I've been campaigning for LGBTQ rights in Afghanistan for the last decade, ever since my pioneering coming out. After spending a year in Afghanistan, I decided to finally make that journey to announce to the entire world on Facebook that I'm a gay Afghan man. I was persecuted. I received a fatwa by the mullahs of Afghanistan, and I was received curses and death threats in the thousands, and was disowned by most of my relatives. And since that day, I knew that I needed to spend the rest of my life campaigning for LGBTQ rights so that I can get acceptance from my own community, but also fight for the people who didn't have that opportunity that I did to fully accept and embrace myself. So that's kind of who I am and what my journey is and how I got started. Well, the current situation for LGBT people in Afghanistan is probably the worst situation that could be. I know that there are 69 countries around the world that criminalize homosexuality, but the absolute worst place is probably Afghanistan under the Taliban. And the reason why that is because there is no outlet, there's no safe space, there's no place. Pretty much the entire community has to hide, because not just officially the state-sanctioned government, which hasn't even been recognized, the Taliban, but everyday people, and during this last year, have become radicalized again, either because they've been brainwashed by the Taliban, or they've been forced to hide who they are. So, and what they're doing in order to get social credit by the Taliban, they're trying to hand over or kind of rat out other LGBT people so that they could get trust, so that they could ensure their own survival. Since the day that the Taliban took control, I decided to start an evacuation list. And I did it informally on my own, but then I've started an organization called Roshaniya, which is the largest LGBT Afghan network. So there's other LGBT Afghans within Afghanistan who are helping me. And what we do is we provide humanitarian relief, psychosocial support, and evacuation and relocation assistance. We work with Behisht, which is our partner organization inside Afghanistan. Behisht does the work inside of Afghanistan in terms of helping LGBT Afghans. And then the work that Roshaniya does is on the international stage. We help to get humanitarian visas. We help to get more more funding to help people get passports and visas and get to make an overland or by air exit out of Afghanistan. So that's kind of what these two organizations do. We complement each other's work. And for me, it's yes, I'm an activist and novelist, but I am also a humanitarian in the sense that, in this past year, we've helped to get 151 people now have been resettled in Western countries, mostly to Canada. And what we're hoping for is to get people to have that pathway set up, a sustainable pathway, so we could, every quarter of every year, we could bring people into Ireland. And we could just be a small number, even over a duration that the Taliban are in power, will make a huge difference. Because if every Western country adopts this model, then we could say that, the most extremely at-risk people who identify as LGBTQ, who are human rights defenders, who have been tortured, we can offer a pathway for them to reach a country where they could feel free, so that they can continue their lives. And we've provided also for 500 people this, emergency cash that they've used for whatever they needed to get themselves outside of the country. Also, we provided, safe houses in Pakistan for 65 people. And we're constantly finding ways, we're being very innovative to say, okay, here are some resources, here are some organizations that could provide this service. Right now, there's a lot of LGBT people who are suicidal. So what we're doing is trying to get antidepressant medication and mental health counseling by Zoom for LGBT people within our community, so that at least while they're waiting for us to figure out a solution for them to exit Afghanistan and to get to a Western country, we're trying to find a way to keep them alive. And I think the best thing is that the best, I think, antidote to their suffering is just me being alive and fighting, and they see that it energizes them. But it also, I'm seeing leaders, pop up in the community and saying, you know what, we're going to take the Zelensky approach, and what he's done for the people of Ukraine. They've changed the narrative and said, you know, we're not going to wait for the world to rescue us. We want to be part of our own rescue effort. And now that's what the LGBT community is doing. And I've inspired that within them, that, you know what, we're not going to wait for somebody to come in and save us. We're going to be part of our empowerment. We're going to be part of our emancipation. And I think that's a very powerful story. And that's why I'm calling on, Western NGOs and Western governments to work with our organization and our LGBT Afghan network, to work with Roshni and Behesh Collective, because we are the community. We know who are the people who are legitimately LGBTQ. We know the people who are more at risk, and who have done the work to speak up for the rest of the people in the community who are also trying to get out. We've done the mobilization of LGBT community now within Afghanistan. We have different ways that we keep in touch with each other. And now it's like the mission, this international tour that I'm on, which started in the UK, and now I'm here in Ireland, and I'll soon be going on to Canada and France and other Western countries. And what our plan is really is to basically build, because see, the thing is that evacuation is only one part of the process. Getting people outside of Afghanistan, while they're in a third country, providing them that support is another part of that solution. And then the final part is, once they reach their final destination, resettlement is not easy. You need to have partner organizations. We're very lucky that we're partnering here in Ireland with LGBT Ireland, who is going to help us not only to help us with the advocacy work in terms of getting those visa waivers from the Irish government, but also helping us in setting up the relationships to find sponsor families. So once LGBT Afghans do arrive in Ireland, that they will find a home, that they can save a home that is going to be LGBT friendly, that they'll be accepted for who they are, and that they could kind of acclimate them so that they can, easier integrate into Irish society. Helping our organization, Roshni and Behesh Collective, to provide resources to LGBT people who don't have the proper documents in place, because that's also going to be a struggle too, to make sure everybody has the proper documents that they need. So financially supporting us, we have a GoFundMe campaign that the queer community here in Ireland can donate, or not just the queer community, anyone really can donate to. And then once people do make their voyage and they do reach here, I think it's going to be very important, because there's going to be Irish people know what the experience, because you guys have many people who've over the centuries who've migrated out of Ireland, and a huge diaspora that have gone to other countries, and that sense of homesickness is very strong for an Afghan, because the culture is so different, and they're leaving their families behind. Maybe their family may have never accepted them for being LGBTQ, but they're not going to be coming here and find another biological family. So I think it's very important that the LGBT community here, the Rainbow family here in Ireland, really embraces them and do their best that they can to be family for them. And that's why I think it's important to bring more LGBTQ Afghans, because it wouldn't be neat to have an LGBTQ Afghan float participating in your pride. I think that's going to be very important, because for a lot of them who they're going to be dealing with the unpacked trauma, the PTSD that they suffered, and the sense of loneliness and isolation. I think being connected with other LGBT Afghans, being connected with the broader Irish LGBT community is going to be so crucial for them to find their sense of footing here in this new country that they're part of. And because it is their natural family. You can't choose your biological family, but unfortunately, most families in Afghanistan do not support their LGBT peoples. So they're always living a double life. And I think that's the beauty of them coming to a country like Ireland, which is so accepting of LGBT people. I think it's important for them to come a place like Ireland so that they could feel free, that they're not facing any more persecution. But I think it's important that Irish people understand that, they also need, they need to be part of a community. So, embracing them, opening your arms, having them kind of doing whatever you can to help them to integrate into Irish society is going to be crucial.